beautiful sweet baby. So today we're going to be talking about Cleotrapa exposing Ice Spice and how she was a bad friend, as well as the complications she endured while on tour with her. So Cleotrapa pretty much did a long TikTok rant and pretty much expressed how the treatment was while she was on tour with Ice Spice. She expressed that she wasn't even going to go on tour with Ice Spice, but Ice Spice begged her to go on tour with her. And she was just kind of like, well, girl, I can't really go on tour with you for an entire month because, I've got things to do. I've got a man. I can't really be doing that. And then she even expressed to her, like, I'm not going to be doing anything. I'm not going to be performing or anything. So why should I really even come? This is when Ice Spice assured her that she would actually be performing with her. So when Cleotrapa heard this, she got excited and she was definitely willing to come. So Cleotrapa even expressed that during the entire rollout of everything, when there was a flyer expressing that she was going to be on tour with Ice Spice, nothing even pretty much came about from it. There wasn't much engagement, and Ice Spice was actually tagged in it, but yet there was still little to no engagement. So while they were on tour together, Cleotrapa expresses that Ice Spice ended up having, all of her bags and everything moved while they were at the hotel. But yet when Cleotrapa tried to do the same and have, the security bring her bags into the hotel, they actually didn't move them at all. And Ice Spice had told her, you might want to keep your luggage on you and everything like that, because in case you have a wardrobe malfunction or something, that way you're able to get them. I feel like this low-key should have been a sign that, Ice Spice was saying you might want to keep up with your stuff because they're not going to take your stuff when they take my stuff. But I guess Cleotrapa didn't really heed warning to those signs because she didn't know Ice Spice was like that. But I digress. So anyways, after this whole situation happened, when everything's moved, Cleotrapa sees that her bags weren't moved. So then that's when she actually got a little hot and started going off on everybody like, hey, why wasn't my things moved? This is when Cleotrapa actually expresses that the whole vibe from here is when things went left on the tour, because after this whole situation, that's when, everybody was kind of cold towards her and the entire vibes were off. So Ice Spice then takes to a Twitter space and she starts to pretty much address everything. And she pretty much says how, she was upset that Cleotrapa thought that her security was supposed to also move her things when that was her responsibility to have somebody on her team pretty much move everything on her behalf. She then says that she thinks it was crazy that Cleotrapa even wanted to get in and do things with her on her room. She was like, she needed her space and she didn't want to have to deal with Cleotrapa being there as well, because she feels like, they needed their own space. Cleotrapa even showed some text messages that we really weren't able to even see because she was kind of covering them, which at this point, if you're going to expose Ice Spice and show everything that she's done, don't half-ass it. So these are some things that Cleotrapa actually took to Twitter and said. She says, imagine being called big by someone that was just big. I'm going to bed, bro. Ozempic got y'all gassed and fat phobic now. Bet. She then says, P word, but you was shaking on your bus thinking N word sent people to get you jumped. Whole time it was a lady and her kids just trying to get an autograph. Like, help. Who the F told you to start with that lady anyways? Nobody. You picked with her. Now you scared. And if I had to take a wild stab at this, I'm thinking this is in regards to Nicki Minaj, but I'm just not 100% sure. Then out of nowhere, Ice Spice's other ex-best friend comes forth and says that she tried to warn Cleotrapa about Ice Spice and her ways. So she takes to Twitter and says this in response to what Cleotrapa says. So Cleotrapa first says this. Oh, I threatened to beat you up because you was doing all that because was mad at Ice. It didn't give. You had any respect for me, boo. You really could have DM'd me from the jump with that whole situation if you was on some real B-word S. word, but thank you. And then this is what Baby Storm says. I tried to warn you and you just threatened to beat me up. Nevertheless, I'm sorry that happened to you. After this, things start to get extremely messy because Cleotrapa actually brings Ice Spice's dad into the mix, and she says, somebody says her father has never confirmed as being Nigerian, because there's a whole situation in which, Cleotrapa was saying that Ice Spice was mad that she never defended her when people were saying that her dad wasn't Nigerian. So then Cleotrapa actually responds back to this fan and says, her father is a Hispanic man. I seen him on tour. And then just recently, Ice Spice's father actually comes forth and expresses his blackness. So he asks Cleotrapa and he says, Cleotrapa, we met twice in the green room. We barely spoke. Who said I'm Hispanic? Then he responds and says, Ken, I'm gonna dead this right here. I'm a black man born and raised in the BX, which is, I'm assuming, the Bronx. And then he says, keep me out the BS. So here's my thoughts. I honestly don't know why Cleotrapa decided to give Ice Spice another chance when it was plain as day in text message that she really did not like her. But I assume that maybe she just wanted to be a forgiving friend and she just really wanted to be there for Spice, and there's probably some love there on her end. After hearing how Ice Spice talked about Cleotrapa, you could really just tell that her whole demeanor is changing and that she's not even the exact same person that she was once before. I feel like Baby Storm just wanted in on this argument because really, she could have just kept quiet. I feel like Cleotrapa did not have to throw strays at Ice Spice's father. Like, he isn't a part of this argument between you and Ice. Just leave it be. If, her dad is a black man, a Hispanic man, let that be. I feel like this was just unnecessary. At the end of the day, I'm hoping these two actually don't rekindle this friendship. I feel like, Ice Spice has shown who she is as a person, and Cleotrapa needs to heed these warnings. She is showing you exactly who she is as a person, because there should have been no reason that she begged you to come on tour with her and then treated you in the utmost disrespectful way that she possibly could. So I feel like at this moment, the friendship just needs to be completely abolished. I even find it to be crazy that, Cleotrapa went to social media to talk about the situation. I feel like once that happens, then there's no really real rekindling a situation. To be honest, there's a situation right now that I do want to do a conspiracy theory on in regards to Ice Spice, and her whole demeanor is changing for the bad. So just let me know if you guys want to hear my conspiracy theory on this, because Ice Spice is definitely got something that's going on with her. But that's my opinion. What's yours?